All right, so that's not a play you see too often. The 3-bet from Fedor, totally standard. The 4-bet with king 10 suited, they are deeper, which is relevant. At 100 big blinds, there's a very low frequency of doing that with a hand like king 10 suited. When you're bluffing with your 4-bets, you want them to be a little more polarized, right? So you're going to 4-bet your really strong hands, and then some not so strong hands that still have some playability. So for example, king 10 suited, this hand plays really well against the 3-bet in position. Really, really well. Doesn't play well against the 5-bet though, right? But a hand that doesn't play as well is a hand, let's say like king 5 suited or king 6 suited, right? So at a low frequency, you should 4-bet, but you should lean probably towards doing it with the king 6, king 7, king 5 suited type hands and flatting with the king 10 suiteds more. Again, this isn't bad or wrong. It's just as far as hand classes go, to throw in your 4-bets, you typically want them to be like more of a bluff. And this is kind of a really good hand, king 10 suited. So anyway, he does 4-bet it, and watch what Fedor does here. Most players in his position just go all in, right? And that can't be bad. You have ace king, right? But they're not 100 big blinds deep anymore, right? They're 150 big blinds deep. So as you get deeper, it allows a little more wiggle room. And check this out. This one's interesting. So now Fedor basically clicks it back. He just min-raise, 52, he makes it 10-5. Most people are afraid to play ace king out of position. They're like, oh no, I just want to get it in now, right? But actually, solvers kind of like this, especially when your 200 big blinds are deeper. It doesn't like just jamming with the ace king. It likes actually having a 5-bet that isn't an all-in. And this puts Wiktor in a brutal spot, kind of. Because, you don't really like calling 5-bets, on a whim. And, he's going to be dominated a lot here. There's just really not a 5-betting range. This deep is, the bluffs are not that, there are not that many bluffs, okay? Just the range has become much more linear. It's very difficult to find bluffs here. And they're usually going to be hands like ace 3, ace 4 suited. Actually, when you're 200 big blinds deep or more, and I knew this when I got into study, hands like king 7 suited and ace 7 suited have some 5-bets in there as well. So anyway, it's not an automatic jam, which I think a lot of players take the easy route and they do that. It's not terrible, but it's slightly better to 5-bet small. That might be a little too small. I think you're probably supposed to go 11-5 or so. But anyway, look at this frickin' flop. Fedor's dead. Fedor's just going to get stacked here, you would think, right? He should mix this. He should bet sometimes and check sometimes, for sure, because he has a hand that needs no protection really. If his opponent has ace queen, excellent. He's got him by the cojones. If his opponent has a pair, okay, well you got 2 overs and a flush draw. If opponent has a flush, oh well, such is life. So this should be a mix. Probably, I would suggest like in this kind of situation on a monotone board, the monotone board actually probably favors the button. Well, no, that's not necessarily true, but that's complicated. So I like this bet from Fedor. I really like this 15% bet. Really, really small on the monotone board. Solvers like that, really small bets. And from Wiktor, flat 100%. You don't raise this flop. There's no point in raising this flop. You're really not worried about any card that comes off. So you're always slow playing this, protecting your calling range. And Fedor goes ahead, and I like this bet a lot too. This is really, really kind of sexy. So with 26K out there, Wiktor has 16. Fedor could just ship the whole thing and be like, yeah, YOLO, whatever. What are you going to do? Hey, such is life. If you got me, I can outdraw you, right? But he elects to go with a smallish bet. And for Wiktor, once again, it seems like, against this size, there's no point in... I guess he could put it all in here. That wouldn't be bad. I don't know. I think you probably do have some jams here at this point. Putting 5 in and 11 more to charge Fedor for hands that would call the jam on the turn but are check folding the river, like the hand that he has. But I really like the way Fedor played this hand a lot, actually. Again, I think his 5-bet size is slightly small. Probably could be a little bit bigger. But I loved his flop size, and I really like this tricky turn. Oh my god. Worst card in the deck for Fedor, and as it turns out, a bad card for Wiktor. Because now, if you're Fedor, you got to think, all right, what is my opponent's range that gets here, right? So I 5-bet, right? They called the flop, and they called the turn, okay? Let's assume there's not a lot of offsuit hands that do that. There's pocket pairs, which you don't beat, because you just have ace high. There's also the pesky ace queen with the queen of diamonds. Possibly all the flushes that, got there, like the king 10 suited or whatever. Maybe some king queen off. I don't know. Does he call a 5? Does he 4-bet? I don't think king queen off is a 4-bet. Well, maybe it is a little bit, somewhat. So yeah, anyway, the queen is a bad card for sure for Fedor. Because really now, like when you're trying, think of what hand do you beat? That calls the flop for small, a wide range. Sure, everything calls the flop. But on the turn, he calls again. Pretty small bet. I guess Fedor could be thinking to himself, well, you know, maybe my opponent has ace-jack, the jack of diamonds, or maybe just ace-jack period. Fedor's going to go ahead and check. So he's going to check. Victor's obviously going to stick it in now. 1/3 pot. And Fedor makes a pretty disciplined fold here. Again, factoring in what are the value combos that Victor has that beat me? Plenty. And what are the bluffs? What are the bluffs? Can you think of any? I don't think there's many bluffs. What bluffs? Some of his bluffs might be like, oh, I'm bluffing with a 4. No, you're good. You have the best hand, you know? This range is really sort of value heavy. I can't think of any combos that are bluffs here. Like, it'd be really hard to search them. And I think maybe it's just ace-jack. Ace-jack just says, screw it. I'm going to bluff specifically ace-king. Or I'm going to try to bluff 2 10s, which he never has. So, yeah. Good fold from Fedor. But frustrating, right? After you see that flop, you got the 5 bets in, you think, how the hell do I lose this one?